All right, Schlockmeister fans, we're going to watch one that was requested last night, Laser Blast. Let's check it out. All right, our film starts out, kind of a science fiction-y vibe here. Filled with some sort of weapon attached to his arm and a spaceship. On board the spaceship are a couple of aliens. Clearly they're looking for this dude. Or one for the aliens. That's Billy's mom. She's going to Acapulco.
What do you want?
Mama, you've been to Acapulco. How many times do you want to go to Acapulco? Hey, Duncan, I just want to see Kathy.
Billy goes over to see his girlfriend, Kathy.
Oh, come on, Colonel. I only want to see Kathy.
What about?
Billy gets pulled over by the cops for speeding, gets a ticket. Speeds off. Playing Froggy in his film debut is Eddie Deason.
I've been up all night and I don't feel sleepy. Froggy, you think our boy here would like to give us a little race?
Anyway, Billy wanders out in the desert and watches a bottle evaporate. When he looks a little further, he finds that weapon that alien. Naturally, he picks it up and plays with it. '70s exploitation icon Cheryl Rainbow Smith plays Kathy.
Where have you been all morning? Not waking people up at the crack of dawn, I hope.
Notices something on him.
I don't know. Could be something bit me.
When he was what?
I was fooling around.
He's got a bit of a rash. Later on, Froggy's friend was kind of like making some moves on Kathy.
Leave Billy for me. Leave him. Leave him alone! I'll kill you!
Well, it turns out that every time Billy puts this gun on his arm, he kind of like changes, starts to metamorphosize a little bit into some sort of creature. Then he just goes and blows up things.
Idiot going to the doctor.
What about the lump on your chest? My God, Billy, it's bigger.
Flash, it came
Froggy
right
may
from
have
the
seen
sky.
something.
Lightning? No, I knew lightning when I see it. This wasn't lightning. This was a solid circle of color. Then pow. You know, just between us, I think it was a flying saucer.
Kid's nuts. Seen Star Wars 5 times.
Somehow they snagged Roddy McDowell in a very brief role as the Doctor.
Do you feel that?
Anyway, Billy continues his ways of going out and shooting shit. Billy is brought in for questioning.
Doctor, look at it. I don't like going to doctors, but... Do you mind showing us? Of course not.
He looks a little more and more green every time we see him with the gun on. Anyway, when he takes the gun off, he seems to be relatively normal, although he still has that whatever the hell on his chest. But that normalcy is just temporary. Billy's on the prowl now. Now he's being pursued. Can't compete with this big weapon. Remember these guys? They're still out there too. Billy hitchhikes and gets picked up. Oh no, not the Star Wars billboard. No far out hippie gonna drive Billy around. he just goes around blowing shit up. I don't know what the purpose is, but there's a lot of explosions in this film. Well, finally, our aliens track down Billy and use their death ray on him instead. That seems to work. The alien also appears to have gotten a lot larger. As the spaceship flies off, Kathy comforts her slain boyfriend, and that ends our film. All right. Somebody last night suggested I watch LASERBLAST, so I watched it next. LASERBLAST. I've had this movie in my collection for well over 20 years. I picked this up probably at Best Buy. It was cheap back in the early 2000s. I've never watched it. However, I did see this movie in the mid-90s. My Schlockmeister brother Jeff had this movie, and I borrowed it from him when I watched it. And I seem to recall being relatively entertained by it. And I was relatively entertained by it again today. It's a short film, about an hour and 22 minutes or so. Put out by Charles Band, who I think they did Full Moon Video. Actually, this is Full Moon, isn't it? Yeah. And were they involved in Wizard Video too? I think so. But anyway, I guess it's a sci-fi film. And it starts out with these two aliens pursuing what appears to be some other humanoid type alien. They shoot him, and the guy dies, disappears in the desert. He's evaporated, basically, and his weapon stays behind, where this kid named Billy, who's probably about 20 years old, he just stumbles upon it at one point when he's driving through the desert, doesn't know exactly what it is, but he presses the button and it starts blowing shit up, and he starts firing it all over the desert. He's having a good time with it. But then every time he puts this thing on his arm, he kind of like morphs into some sort of like Jekyll and Hyde monster type thing with a green face. He kind of reminded me of the guy in Dawn of the Dead, one of our main characters who got bit. Roger? Was it Roger? I think so. Anyway, so he's got this girlfriend, Callie, played by Cheryl Rainbow Smith, a 70s exploitation icon, is the way I described her. And she noticed he's got like a little rash on his chest. He says he's got to go to the doctor. So he goes to the doctor, which is Roddy McDowell. And Roddy McDowell doesn't know what the hell is wrong with him. But he's got this hole. It's almost like metal at one point. And then he shoots the doctor that night, runs him off the road basically and blows him up. And then he spends the rest of the movie, does Billy, every time he puts his gun on, he turns into this monster type thing, and he just shoots stuff. He shoots cars, he shoots buildings, he shoots a Star Wars billboard on the side of the road. He just blows up shit all over the place. No rhyme or reason to it. He just starts blowing things up. Well, eventually, the police are pursuing him, and the aliens are pursuing him, and he turns into this creature after he just made love to Kathy, and she took off running, and then he bumped into the side of the van and knocked himself out. Ridiculous. And then there's a final showdown in the streets. The cops are pursuing him too, like I said. But one of the aliens is standing on top of a building and shoots this like death ray at him, and he doesn't disappear like the other guy in the beginning movie, but he falls to his death or collapses basically, and then Kathy runs to him, and then that's it. Our movie just kind of ends. Now, LASERBLAST. Now, I mean, this is not a good movie by any means. I mean, MST 3000 actually riffed on this movie. But you know what? I think I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed it kind of on a bad level too, but I honestly didn't think it was horribly, horribly bad. I mean, it was bad, but I just thought it was entertaining too. I kind of enjoyed the scene. It was the special effects were extremely poor, obviously, the claymation stuff and the laser zaps, but you know what? I think it actually kind of worked for this film. It's just this movie has a reputation of being such an awful film, but I kind of enjoyed it. And I don't know. I'm not quite sure I enjoyed it because it was so bad, or I enjoyed it because I didn't think it was as bad as some people think. I don't know. I'm kind of on both fences here. Or I got a leg on each side of the fence. Now, if you look on IMDb, I think this movie has like a 2.8 rating, which is pretty damn low. But man, I would watch this again. I think it's fun. So anyway, no nudity that I saw, although IMDb says there is a couple nude scenes in it, but I didn't see them. No nudity, just 82 minutes of laser blasting fun. That's it. Anyway, I will leave a link to something down below. Something tells me this has been released on a Blu-ray, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But if it is, I'll leave that. Otherwise, you can get this DVD. My guess is it's pretty cheap. check it out. Leave some comments. It's probably even streaming on YouTube. Actually, the MST3000 version of this film is streaming on YouTube. Check that out too. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Laser Blast. It's one word, by the way. Watch it. Bye.